Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Dai, and today I am bringing you a Manga First Impressions video. It's been a while since I've done one of these outside of the Moniker Manga Club, and since I've been reading quite a bit for the Manga Pride Readathon, I thought I'd do one of these for some of the new titles that I've tried out for this year's Manga Pride Readathon. So I've got 4 volumes here to give you my thoughts on and let you know if I will be continuing with the series or not. And so yeah, let's get started. So the 4 titles that I will be talking about in this video are Volume 1 of Futari Escape. This is story and art by Shouichi Taguchi, published by 7 Seas, rated teen. Volume 1 of The Summer You Were There by Yuama. This is also published by 7 Seas, rated teen. Volume 1 of Last Gender, When We Were Nameless. This is by Taki, published by Kodansha, rated 18+ or mature. And then Volume 1 of The Titan's Bride by ITKZ, published by 7 Seas, rated mature. So I will go in that order. So let's start off with Volume 1 of Futari Escape. So this this is supposed to be a Yuri comedy. I think what I'm going to do is read you what the back says and then tell you what I got. So the back of this one says, Slackers Unite. 2 young women, one an overworked manga artist, the other a jobless slacker, try to escape the realities of adulthood. Whether it's by going into debt while splurging on an epic meal or taking an impromptu trip, Kohai and Senpai always find a way to make the most of their days. Kick back and relax with this adorable Yuri comedy. So we definitely follow our 2 female characters here on the cover. The taller one is the mangaka and the shorter one is the unemployed character. In this volume, we basically get a slice of life type view of their life. We follow them through like day-to-day type things. Sure, there's a little bit of comedy in there. Am I to believe that they are together here? If that's the case, that is not what I got. I basically got 2 really great friends who are just hanging out, enjoying life together and going through trials and tribulations of being jobless, going into debt, having problems with not enjoying what they're doing or the stress of life and things like that. I enjoyed this reading experience for that. Just seeing 2 people go through life together was enjoyable and entertaining. But I feel like these 2 characters are either going to be together or are together, and it just wasn't set up well enough for me to believe that in this volume. And so I kind of just saw 2 friends living life together, and I didn't get that, you know, there was any kind of romantic spark between them or that there ever would be. The unemployed character really got on my nerves because it didn't seem like they were even trying to go out and get a job. They were just literally slacking off and mooching off of the other person, and I didn't enjoy that at all. So with this first volume, I wasn't pulled into the story enough that I even want to continue at this point, because I was happy enough just getting a glimpse into their life. Whether or not they were supposed to be together in this volume or not, it was just an enjoyable peek into their lives, and I don't feel like I need any more with these characters. I wasn't attached to either one of them, and I'm not really interested on seeing where life is going to lead for them. I was happy enough just visiting with them for a little while and being done with it. So unfortunately, I will not be continuing with Futari Escape. The Summer That You Were There. So this is the start of a Yuri storybook romance. Shizuku is a shy high schooler who hardly talks to other people. Instead, she loses herself in writing, crafting a novel that she never intends to show anyone. But when her cute, popular classmate Kaori gets her hands on Shizuku's manuscript, everything changes. Kaori suggests that in order to give Shizuku material for her next book, The two of them should start dating. Can this mismatched pair create their own happily ever after? So I really like the art style in this book. It was just one of those art styles that I really get attracted to. It was very, very cute, but the very beginning of this volume, I definitely got the feeling that there was going to be something a little bit more serious going on with it. In the way that Shizuku crafts her novel and some of the little glimpses we see in that, there are definitely some dark undertones there, and I'm wondering if further on in this series we're going to find out what exactly the content of her novel was. I also feel that later in this series, something much sadder is going to be revealed. I got that feeling from this first volume. And there's definitely something else that had gone on in Shizuku's life previously that gets alluded to in this volume towards the end, that I'm really interested to see how that's all going to tie in with this story of these two girls. Now, unlike in Futari Escape, I definitely got the feeling that these two could get together. We're told in the summary that it is proposed that they date each other to give Shizuku material to write her next novel, and that's exactly what happens in here. And we see the very beginnings of their dating life together. We see them go on a date together. I got the feeling that there could be feelings between these two girls. It's something that I definitely didn't get with Futari Escape. And while I am a little bit hesitant going forward with this series because it feels like it's going to be heavy emotionally, and that's not usually something that I gravitate towards, I'm very interested to find out about these two girls, watch them date a little bit longer, and see what will happen with the revelation that was at the end of this volume, with whatever some of the things in here are alluding to that I feel are going to pop up later. And yeah, I just really enjoyed watching our two characters here go on their dates and get to know each other a little bit better and things like that. So this was a much more enjoyable first volume for me, and I definitely will be continuing at least to the next one and seeing how this one goes for me, but I really enjoyed this one. So now let's talk about Last Gender, When We Are Nameless. This one in the back says, "Welcome to Bar California, a place for you to reveal your true self. People of different genders, propensities, and sexual orientations gather at a certain chic bar that's hidden from the public eye. While some come in search of themselves, others step into the establishment looking for sex and love. There are as many sexualities as there are people, and the patrons' stories intertwine as they struggle to find happiness. A bisexual trans woman who's been hurt by the voices of others wishes she had a normal relationship. A married, middle-aged salaryman secretly expresses his female side, and a pansexual cis guy is on the lookout for true love." So this is a collection of, I would say, short stories, but they all revolve around the patrons that go to Bar California. So Bar California is like the main setting for this volume, and I feel like it will be for this series. And we meet the patrons and spend a little bit of time with them and find out their struggles, hear about their worries, and things like that. There are, I believe, a couple more characters that we meet than what is portrayed here on this summary. And each one of them were very interesting to me. I would say almost all of them ended in sex. It's very explicit, and only one of them did not. But I would say that one was the one that I enjoyed the most. And so that one was the one about the salary man who expresses his female side. I am not sure about this one, if I'm honest. There were a couple things that bothered me. the bisexual trans woman. And I was just really uncomfortable with the way that she revealed that she was a trans person. Like, I didn't feel like it was necessary for her to do it the way she did it. And I guess in order to explain that, I need to tell you how she did that. So she basically took off her clothes in order to make the statement, instead of just saying that she was trans. Well, I should say she took off her clothes in one of the stories, and then she just like lifted up her skirt in a later story. So I don't know. I was just very uncomfortable with how that all happened in both stories. But after that, the story with this particular character, I liked. It was just the very beginnings of both of those sections bothered me. Like, why wouldn't you just say instead of show? I don't know. But, you know, to each their own. That's fine. It's just not something I enjoyed as far as the storytelling goes. Like I said, my favorite story was the one with the salaryman and exploring his female side. I thought that story was very, very touching, and I really enjoyed that one. There is a story in here about an aromantic character who enjoys sex, and so that was really interesting. But there was a little bit of confusion in here for me with the story that's in the very beginning of this volume and the story that's at the very end. Both of those stories, like the speech boxes and how the patron comes to the bar for the first time, were almost verbatim. It was almost the exact same scenario, but with different characters. So the characters definitely looked different, the patron character, but the speech bubbles were almost exactly the same. And so I got a little bit confused. I don't know if that means that the story that's at the very end was kind of like the kind of teaser story to try to get this series published, and maybe from there what we got in the very beginning of this volume was how the mangaka decided to start the series. I'm not quite sure about that, but yeah, there's definitely interest in this story for me. It explored lots of different sexualities, and even though this type of short story format is not usually for me, I found this to be very entertaining, and so I'm interested to check out at least another volume of this series. There is something that goes on with our hostess of the bar, or the owner, which is this character here on the cover, that comes up kind of towards the end of the volume that I'm very interested in exploring a little bit more, because it seems to be a little bit mysterious. And so yeah, I'll definitely be checking out at least one more volume of this one, but I enjoyed this one as well. And then the last volume I have to talk to you about is The Titan's Bride. So this one, it says, in a world of giants, there's no such thing as a little crush. Senior Koichi Mizuki is about to take his final exams and graduate from high school when he suddenly finds himself in a world of titans. Not only is he no longer anywhere near home, but one of these giants, Prince Caius, has claimed Koichi as his bride. Thanks to a disturbing world-ending prophecy, the prince's upcoming nuptials cannot be with anyone of his world. Since Caius has no plans to send Koichi back to Earth, he is wholeheartedly set on taking Koichi as his wife. So this one, this one was entertaining. It was definitely entertaining. There's a lot of comedic moments in here. I did enjoy the art style. The way Koichi is kind of brought to this Titan's land was kind of embarrassing for him. And the way he like reacts to everything was understandable, but still comedic, if you know what I mean. There is definitely sexual content in here. I would say there's almost a little too much, and that has to do with something that happens more towards the end of this volume, and I believe will continue on into the next volume. And it's kind of teetering on that line where there's almost too much sexual content than there is story for me, but it's not quite there yet. This, I feel like, had enough story for me to keep me interested, but it did feel a little bit tropey to me. It definitely deals with a trope that I'm not real interested in at the end of this volume, but I am enjoying watching Koichi warm up to Caius. I'm enjoying seeing how Caius is already feeling like he doesn't want to let Koichi go. There is a scene in here where Caius tries to initiate sex with Koichi the very first time, and Koichi tells him, no, stop, I'm scared, and Caius does stop. He respects Koichi's stance in that moment, and I really, really appreciated that. But yeah, as far as the whole story outside of the bedroom, I am enjoying this. It's very interesting to see how Caius's world works. There are other lands that are kind of being brought in to the story that I'm interested about, and I'm looking forward to seeing how all that plays out in the next volume. So I will be continuing to the next volume. Hopefully there'll be more story than sex. But so far I did enjoy this one, and so I will be continuing to the next one. I also really enjoyed the size of this volume, because for 7 Seas, this is much bigger than like a normal 7 Seas volume, which is like this size. So yes, I really enjoyed everything that I read for the most part. And so yeah, out of the 4, I'm definitely continuing 3, and I enjoyed the one that I won't be continuing, but even though I won't be continuing it, it was still an entertaining read. So let me know down in the comments below if you've read any of these series and what you thought of them, or if you think that I should give Futari Escape another chance. Definitely let me know that down in the comments below. But please no spoilers. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you are here, if you could leave me a rainbow emoji for a Manga Pride Readathon, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out, and that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.